Hi, second grade. This is our math workshop for today. The materials that you will need for this lesson are a piece of paper, your 0 through 9 cards, and something to write with. What I would like for you to do is get these materials ready and have them out while you watch the video so that we can do an example together. Let's fold our paper first. So we're going to make 8 squares again. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half like this, in half like a hot dog. If it's not perfect, that's okay. We just need 8 spaces for our work. Then you're going to fold it in half again, just like this. And then in half one more time, so that your paper looks like this. When you unfold it, you have 8 long boxes to do your work in. So pause this video now and get your materials ready to go. And once they're ready, have them out in front of you as you watch the video so we can do an example together. Last week we began working with subtraction and we talked a little bit about decomposing numbers. What does it mean to decompose a 10 or to decompose 100? So when we decompose 100, that means we take apart that 100 block and we make it into tens, right? How many tens are there in 100? There are 10 tens in 100. How many ones are there in a 10? There are 10 ones. So when we decompose a 10, we're decomposing it into 10 ones. And when we decompose 100, we're decomposing the 100 into 10 tens. So today what I want to teach you is that when we're subtracting multi-digit numbers, we subtract hundreds from hundreds, tens from tens, and ones from ones. And sometimes we have to decompose 100 into 10 tens in order to do this. So we're going to be solving some subtraction equations today and recording our work on this paper. So let's get started. So the first thing that we want to do now that we've got our paper ready to go and our number cards is we're going to split up the paper like we've done with some of our other lessons. I'm just going to draw like a little dotted line in between each one. So it looks something like this. Okay, so you might remember doing this when we were talking about adding with 3-digit numbers. It's a similar process, but today we're going to be subtracting. So what you're going to do first is you are going to pull 3 of your cards. And what I want you to do is make sure that they're mixed up. You want to get random cards. You don't want to pick them out yourself. Mix them up and pull 3 cards. 8, 2, and 1. Please make sure that you write this one down with me as an example. It's going to be one of your 8 equations so that you'll have one less to do on your own. Okay, so I pulled 8, 2, and 1, which represents 8 hundreds, 2 tens, and 1 1, 821. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to draw the blocks for 821. Remember, we draw squares for hundreds, sticks or lines for tens, and dots for ones. So I have 800, 2 tens, and 1 1. Okay, now I'm going to write the number in expanded form. And remember, even when we're doing subtraction, expanded form is always addition, right? Because we're stretching out this number to say 800 plus 20 plus 1. This isn't the equation that we're going to be solving, but this is how we write it in expanded form. So the next step after you've written it in expanded form is you're going to pull one more random card. I pulled a 7. Just like we did when we did this activity with addition, this 7 is not just representing 7 ones. Instead, we are going to think about this 7 as if it is in the tens place. So it's not representing 7, it's representing 7 tens, which is 70. So what we're gonna do next is we are going to write minus, because we are subtracting, 70. Okay, so now we're gonna do the subtraction. Now I'm looking at this one, and we talked a little bit about just stacking our numbers. So I have 2 tens. Can I take 7 tens away if I only have 2 tens? No, I'm gonna need to do something first. What do I need to do before I can subtract 2 tens from 7 tens? I need to decompose. So I'm gonna use another color just to help you see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna decompose 100 to give me more tens so that I can subtract. Here's 100, and instead we're gonna make it into
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tens.
All right, so now it should be a little easier for us to subtract. I'm gonna grab a third color just to make sure you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we have 12 tens right now. If we count all of these up, there's 12 tens, and we need to take away 7 of them. So I'm gonna take away 7 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we subtracted 7 tens. When you're showing your work, make sure that you're crossing them out or maybe giving them a squiggle, but just make sure that we're still able to see that there was a 10 there. If you just scribble over the whole thing, it's gonna be hard for your teachers to check your work. So just do like an X or a squiggle out over the line so that we can check and make sure you're decomposing and subtracting correctly. So now, what am I left with? Well, let's see. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 700. Okay, now I'm gonna go over to my tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 tens. And my ones are gonna stay the same, right? Because we didn't decompose any tens and we didn't subtract any ones. So our total is 751. 821 minus 70 gives us 751. So the steps for this lesson are pulling your cards. You can just keep them in the order you pull them, and drawing them using squares, sticks, and dots. Then you're gonna write the number in expanded form. So you're gonna do these 2 things first. Then, once you've written it in expanded form, you're gonna pull an additional card from your 0 through 9 cards. And this card is gonna represent tens. The 7 is not 7 ones, it's 7 tens. So then you're gonna draw the card and write it down, minus 70. So then you're going to show your work with your squares, sticks, and dots. That's where I used red and blue over here to show that I decomposed, and then the blue shows that I subtracted. So the red is showing the decomposing and the blue is showing subtraction. If you want to use different colors like I did, you absolutely can. It can sometimes help make it clear, but it's okay if you just want to do it in one color. After you have decomposed and subtracted, then you're going to tell me how many you have left. So you can count up your squares, sticks, and dots, and then you'll just write equals whatever your answer is. All right, boys and girls, when you're working, every single one of your equations does not have to include decomposing. Sometimes we don't have to decompose. It's okay if you don't have to decompose in every single one, but I do want to see you show at least 3 more examples where you do decompose 100 into tens, just so that we can make sure you're practicing that skill. They don't all need to have it, but 3 of your own independent examples should. And if you ever pull the 0 as your how much to subtract, just put it aside and grab a new card. I don't want you to subtract 0 from your number because then you're not going to get any practice. All right, boys and girls, when you finish this assignment, please make sure to add an attachment of your work so that your teacher can take a look at how you're doing. Before you mark as done, be sure to add an attachment. Good luck, guys. Bye.